It's 9:47 p.m. A message comes in. Quick question when you have a sec. It's polite, it's small, but your evening turns into a decision. If you answer, you teach the system you're reachable after work. If you don't, you wonder what it will mean by morning. That's the shift. After work doesn't fully feel offline anymore. The weird part is that no one has to explicitly ask. There doesn't need to be a rule that says be online. The system does it through expectation, through rhythm, through what gets rewarded. Flexibility exists, but permission doesn't. You're allowed to work from home, but the day expands. You're allowed to log off, but your status still says you're reachable. You're allowed to take time off, but you learn to leave a justification trail. It shows up in how people announce rest. Not as a statement, as a disclaimer. Stepping out for an hour, but I'll be checking. Taking PTO tomorrow, but I'm around for anything urgent. Offline for dinner, but text me if you need me. Rest becomes something you have to soften, something you have to pre-apologize for, something you have to prove you still deserve. And then the body starts treating rest like risk, because silence isn't neutral anymore. Silence is unverified. In an office, leaving meant leaving. In a distributed workplace, leaving looks identical to ignoring. So even when you stop working, you still manage how it appears. You learn the language of presence, green dots, read receipts, scene indicators that turn a message into a clock. A quick question lands at 9:47 p.m. It's not aggressive. It's polite. It even has a smiley face. But now there's a decision inside your evening. If you answer, you teach the system you're available. If you don't answer, you teach the system you're absent. That's what changes the feeling. Rest starts to feel like a choice you're making against something, not for yourself. Over time, availability becomes a kind of character trait. The dependable one, the responsive one, the one who doesn't need follow-up. And that identity gets rewarded in small ways. People stop escalating. They trust you with more. They assume you can handle it. Therefore, the workload expands without ever being named as expansion. It just becomes what you do. Then when you try to step back, it doesn't feel like balance. It feels like a drop in quality, a lapse in who you are. That's why boundaries can feel like failure, because the boundary isn't just against a task. It's against a story that has already formed around you. Workplaces don't need to punish rest. They just need to measure responsiveness. Effort is hard to see. Responsiveness is on record. A reply is time-stamped. A pause is visible. A missed message is searchable. So what gets interpreted as commitment isn't what you carried, it's what you answered. And once that becomes the measurement, rest starts to look like neglect. Not because you're neglecting your work, because you're neglecting the signal. This is why time off can feel like a negotiation. You're not just asking for time, you're asking to temporarily stop broadcasting commitment. So you justify. You overhand over. You write paragraphs to cover a week of absence. You try to make your rest look responsible. And even then the unease follows you. Because you know the system didn't stop while you did. It just rerouted around you and kept its expectations intact. Rest sits inside a structure that reads absence as risk, so you can be exhausted and still feel guilty when you stop. You can finally have an empty evening and feel like you missed something. You can take a day off and spend it half checking, half apologizing. In this system, boundaries don't just change your schedule, they change what you look like. And once you've been trained to treat looking committed as part of the job, rest stops feeling like recovery. It starts feeling like neglect, and the question isn't, how do I rest better? It becomes something else. How do you rest in a system that only trusts what it can see.